Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Let's get after it.
Oh my god!
Coming right up the ROS here.
Oh my god! It's huge!
That's what we saw is the
There goes the bait. It was the lasers bouncing off of his body. Oh my god!
Well, the bait's, oh no, the bait's over. He pushed the sub away. Or he took the bait away.
So he has all the bait?
No, the bait is to the right. Here he comes again. Here he comes.
Got it.
Yeah.
can you get him on?
Oh, whoa. His gill slits are probably 20 centimeters long. This guy's got a meter-wide head.
Look how thick he is.
He's huge. What do you think, Max, on size? 10, 12?
Just another great example of what's lurking under the ocean while we keep all our focus on the stars. We certainly need to be putting more efforts into deep ocean exploration. There's no telling what kind of sea life's hiding out down there that we've never even seen before.
This is so wild. So almost out of nowhere, with lightning speed, Biden has just signed the TikTok ban into law. So, I mean, I thought this was going to happen sometime next week, but no, the very next day. So it does prove that if they do want to get something done, it can be done. And it can be done with speed. Biden said after signing the bill, it's going to make America safer, the world safer, and it will continue America's leadership in the world, and everyone knows it. Well, that was word for word, bar for bar. Now, just because this has passed, don't really expect TikTok to go anywhere soon, because they've already come out and said that they will be challenging this unconstitutional law in court under capitalist principles, and that could literally drag out for years. And if they do take this to court, this is the one good thing, they will actually have to prove that there is a danger for US users, which so far has not happened. We haven't got any proof. Even Shoshu said, the facts and the Constitution are on our side, rest assured, we are not going anywhere. But, you know, with that being said, also remember, it's not impossible, because right now, almost half the world, 3 billion people, are already not allowed to use TikTok, including India, China themselves, ironic, Iran, Senegal, Nepal, Jordan, Afghanistan, and Somalia. So, you know, it could happen. It's definitely not impossible. So, we'll see.
So I just put this in here to address the ban and how it will affect my channel moving forward. So don't worry, I don't plan to go anywhere. Even if they do end up banning TikTok, it's just going to be banned on your phone and devices and stuff from the App Store. You'll still be able to go to TikTok.com and log in and post content. I just wanted to address this because I've gotten a couple of comments of people asking, what am I going to do when the ban comes down? My answer, I'm just going to keep posting content.
The maximum lifespan of a human being under the perfect conditions is 120 years, because that's when the telomeres run out. They know now in a laboratory setting how to extend the telomeres. They did it to rats already. They extended their lifespan 3 times their normal lifespan. If we don't take back control of this planet, they will sell us time. Oh, you want to live to 50? It's going to cost you this. Want to live to 1,000? That'll be the global elites. We want to be able to get access to this life extension technology. We have to get together and take back control of this planet immediately.
So he's not saying anything here that I disagree with, but I will say this. Even if it costs money, which it shouldn't, I would pay to get extra time. Say there's just a pill you take or a procedure you undergo to extend your life by a certain degree of time, I'd be instantly on board. I'm not afraid of dying, but I certainly like the idea of getting to live through time long enough that you get to experience the entirety of the changing of civilizations. It'd be really hard to witness something more amazing than that.
These people just called a bird talking. If it flies, it spies. Can you make out what he's saying?
Oh my gosh.
This is insane.
He's talking. No!
We travel, we do travel.
What the heck? That's crazy. Yeah. What else can it say?
I don't know. I don't even know.
Tweet, tweet, tweet.
Tweet, tweet. The bird is actually...
It is talking, I swear to God.
We have videos.
They're listening to all of us. super big surveillance program.
Like a robot? Because that's a pretty good moving robot.
What?
Why? It's a version.
Yeah, say something.
It's like a microphone coming out of his beak.
It's like saying something talk about. Look, its eyes look like cameras.
Wait, it just peed. It just pooed.
Did you snap back into her, bro?
Oh my gosh.
Don't trust anything in the sky.
Careful, Willow.
Yeah, I'm scared of him.
Like, dude, get out of here. Whoa!
Strange. Don't forget, stay weird.
All right, that has to be a talking breed of bird, but it sounded like it was talking through a dollar store walkie-talkie. I know we've seen the little mechanical bugs and stuff on this channel before. I haven't seen a bird that I'm convinced is robotic yet, but I guess you should be careful what you say around them because you don't know who's on the other end of that walkie-talkie listening. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and you like this kind of content, I make a new one just like it every day, Monday through Friday. It'd be awesome if you'd hit that subscribe button and come back tomorrow to join me.
The two main competitors in AI right now, Microsoft and Google. Google had an advantage, but Microsoft was able to make a huge investment into OpenAI, which created ChatGPT. So it's really these two companies. When OpenAI announced that they had been successful with GPT-3 and releasing GPT-4, in one day, there was $100 billion removed from the market cap of Google. The investing community is so tuned to what's going on in this AI battle that had that much impact. So these two companies are locked in competition. Now, at the same time, the open source community, so Google and Microsoft are trying to own this stuff, right? The open source community is developing their own AI models that are open source at 10 times the rate for a tenth of the money. Do the math. That means that the open source community is going to eclipse them very soon. Right? And there's no one's going to control it. Okay? So they don't want that. So how do you compete against the open source community? Regulation.
Of course.
It's too dangerous. We don't know what we're doing. We've got to get the government involved. We've got to regulate these things. And of course, who's going to get the permission to continue to develop their AI systems? Well, you can take a guess.
Google and Microsoft.
So I have mixed feelings about this one. I do feel like this AI stuff needs to be heavily regulated to keep it from spiraling out of control, because those who are creating it are taking a no caution approach. However, when they say it'll be regulated out of the hands of the public and into the hands of the corporations, that's not the type of regulations that we need. We need some fail-safes and some backdoor controls put into this stuff before it's too late, and nobody seems to be worried about that at all.
Jesus revealed the secret to immortality in a gospel once banned by the church called the Gospel of Thomas. It says, "These are the secret sayings that the living Jesus spoke, and he said whoever finds the correct interpretation of these sayings will never die." In this gospel, Jesus says that when you understand this secret, first you'll be shocked, then you'll be amazed, then you'll rule over everything. But how is that possible? Jesus reveals that the religious leaders who say that the kingdom of heaven is in the sky are wrong, that it's actually inside of you and all around you, meaning it's a realization and a state of consciousness. He goes on to say that when you understand what he's saying, you'll become him and he'll become you. In other words, you'll become divine. Jesus explains that when you look within, you'll discover that you are God. This realization means that your true self is immortal. Your body can still perish, but what you actually are is eternal, divine, and limitless. And since we are all God, the entire universe is our kingdom to rule. Heaven is right here in front of us, and it's up to us to create it.
So this sounds like it's going back to the one consciousness theory, which I feel like so many different teachers and internet investigators are pointing to. I'm not sure if this guy's interpretation of that book was accurate or if that book was ever even actually meant to be put in the Bible. But if what he's saying is true, it sounds like leaving that book out of the Bible was the beginning of the attempt to keep us from knowing our true selves. The intentional removal of this book could very well have been the start of the war against the spiritual side of humanity.
The next big war is going to be a space war. They're going to take these UAPs, reverse engineer alien craft. They're going to do a Gulf of Tonkin incident like they did to launch the Vietnamese War. They're going to strike or blow up a Navy vessel or something like that with one of these UAPs, claim it wasn't ours, claim it was an alien, and we have to be fearful of the aliens now because they can attack us. And then they're going to send trillions of dollars to black budget projects that have no congressional oversight, and they're going to take our money. We're going to willingly give it to them because we are afraid of the aliens.
I think of all the predictions that I've heard from Billy Carson, this one stands out as not only likely, but also likely going to happen soon. I'm completely convinced there's going to be some false flag alien attack, and that's what the slow disclosure rollout's been all about. Get people talking about it so they believe, then hit them with an alien 9/11, then just watch the fear money roll in while they stuff it in their pockets. That's what's going on. I have a bad feeling that that's what's fixing to take place.
When Wernher von Braun was dying of cancer, he asked me to be his spokesperson, to appear on occasions when he was too ill to speak. And I did. And what he asked me to do was to educate decision makers and the public about why we shouldn't be putting weapons in space, why they're a dangerous, destabilizing, too costly, unnecessary, untestable, unworkable idea, and what the alternatives are, how we could be building a cooperative space system. What was most interesting to me was a repetitive sentence that he said to me over and over again during the approximately 4 years that I had the opportunity of working with him, and that was the strategy that was being used to educate the public and decision makers, and the scare tactics, the spin that was being put on a weapons system. And that was how we identify an enemy. The enemy, at first he said, the enemy against whom we're going to build a space-based weapon system that he thought was a ridiculous idea, unnecessary and very dangerous, not to mention too costly, etc. The strategy that Wernher von Braun taught me was that first the Russians are going to be considered to be the enemy. In fact, when I met him in '74, they were the enemy, the identified enemy. We were told that they had killer satellites. We were told that they were coming to get us and control us, the dirty commies, that whole story. First, the Russians were the enemy against whom we're going to build space-based weapons. Then terrorists would be identified, and that was soon to follow. We heard a lot about terrorism. Then we were going to identify third world country crazies. We now call them nations of concern. But he said that would be the third enemy against whom we would be needing to build space-based weapons. And the next enemy was asteroids. Now at this point, he kind of chuckled the first time he said it. Asteroids, against asteroids we're going to build space-based weapons. So it was funny then. And the funniest one of all was against what he called aliens, extraterrestrials. That would be the final card. And over and over and over during the 4 years that I knew him and was giving his speeches for him, he would bring up that last card. And remember, Carol, the last card is the alien card. We're going to have to build space-based weapons against aliens. And all of it, he said, is a lie. A lie. So when I hear that there's a possible threat of extraterrestrials, and I look at the history of thousands of years of possible visitations, recorded history, and when I hear now the stories of the disclosures of honest military intelligence industry people who have had experiences with UFOs, with crashes and landings, with live or dead bodies of extraterrestrial beings, people from out in the universes. And if I'm ever told that these are enemies against whom we have to build space-based weapon systems, based on my own personal experience of having worked in the military-industrial complex on weapon systems and military strategy, I'm going to know it's a lie. It's a lie. And I'm not only not going to believe it, but I'm going to go out as loudly as I can and tell everyone to take a look. They have not taken us away yet. We're still here after thousands of years of visits. If in fact they're still visiting us now and people are working with ETs, live or dead, if they're taking photographs, if they're experiencing all kinds of UFO experiences, then we have to look at this as something that is not a hostile occurrence. It would be my guess, based on my own experience of having traveled to countries whom we've been told had hostile intentions against the United States, it would be my hope and my intention to do everything I could to work with people who are working to communicate with and cooperate with these extraterrestrial beings, because they're clearly not hostile.
Wow. So we've been hearing the same threats about Russia for over 50 years. This sounds like this could have been a speech from last Tuesday, the way things are playing out. But she brings up a very valid point. If these things are so much more advanced than us, which they clearly are based on their crafts and the fact that they've potentially made it here from other star systems, why haven't they done anything to us yet? Why are they sitting back and waiting for us to get better technology and more advanced weaponry? If they had dark intentions, wouldn't they have already made a move? I'm not convinced of any particular intent in one way or the other with regards to these things, but she certainly makes a good point.
Your heart can predict the future. Foremost, if you didn't know, you have 3 brains. You have your head brain, your heart brain, and your gut. All 3 of these areas have neurons and neural networks. So these scientists came together and they wanted to test intuition. So they hooked up all these people to like these various monitors and different things. They sat them down in front of a computer, and then they would periodically show them images. Some of the images would be really graphic. It would get your heart racing. It would be just extreme. The other images would just be like really neutral, really chill. What's fascinating is all of the data they collected showed that even before a graphic image was shown, 6 seconds before, the body knew, the heart knew. So if it was a neutral image, nothing would happen. But if it was a graphic image, 6 seconds before, your heart would recognize it. This is before you were shown the image. This is before anything happened. How do you explain that? So there's this really cool place called the Heart Math Institute, and they talk about how there is evidence that the heart is directly involved with the processing of information about a future emotional stimulus. Future emotional. Future. You don't know it, your heart knows it. So what's fascinating is you can look at the animal kingdom, right? And these animals all have incredible instincts, right? These birds, they know how to migrate even if they haven't migrated before. These animals know these different things, these processes without ever doing them. We call it instincts. Why do we think we are the only animals on this earth without instincts? I think we have instincts. I think we have that intuition, but I also think we are so incredibly disconnected, not even from society. People always talk about how we're disconnected from each other. We're always on our phones. We're not meeting with people. You are disconnected from yourself. There is so much about you that you don't even know. Most of your thoughts and ideas came from other people. You were conditioned to think the way that you're thinking. Like, have you ever sat down and really thought about who are you? What do you like? What gets you going? What gets you excited? And for me, it'd be really interesting to look into this and the connection to like anxiety and depression, which plagues our modern society. We are so disconnected from who we are. We are so numbed because of our daily lives, our entertainment, the food that we eat, that we're disconnected from ourselves and what we're truly here to do in this life. I don't know, I could be crazy, but I'm just thinking about how many people out there have that intuition, have those instincts. Their heart is telling them, trying to communicate to them, like, here's the path that you need to go. And yet you're still working as an accountant because we live in a society where you have to pay to survive. It's interesting when people have these extreme experiences where they truly connect with themselves, whether it be through sacred medicines, whether it's meditation, yoga, breath work, different things like that. Once they connect with themselves, they start deciding, hey, this isn't the career path for me, or I'm not doing with my life what I truly want to do or what I need. If you feel disconnected, I have some videos on my page about simple ways that you can meditate. Meditation has been the greatest blessing to my life. Connecting with myself and becoming centered has truly been the key to all success. Trust yourself, trust your instincts, guys. Just connect with yourself. Love you, bye.
So I can't help but think back to this guy talking about the book of Thomas being removed from the Bible and talking about looking within to find your true self. I think the biggest takeaway from this for me is that we're all a product of our environment to a degree. We are our lived experiences. But by looking within and giving immense focus to course correcting yourself, you can become the person you're meant to be, a person that you're actually happy with.
What would you think if I could take you to a place where the 200 fallen angels built a boardroom for them to all meet? It would have to be at the top of a finished pyramid, at the end of a pointed sword, with a phoenix right there into the front yard. And if you clicked inside of it, it would have a round table where they could all meet together, all 200 of them. And if you go right inside the Palace of Peace and Reconciliation, I'm going to show you their boardroom. All 200 delegates meet right here in the top of this finished pyramid. It's one of the only finished pyramids I've ever seen in my life. And if you click on that little mark right there, it's going to take us down inside that hole. And that's what's underneath the Palace of the Peace and Reconciliation, where the 200 fallen angels meet. That sun shines right through the middle of that table that holds 200 people, and it goes all the way down to the middle of the floor in the basement, which is the amphitheater, and that's where all the people can meet. It says 200 seats for the world's religious meetings. Chapter 3 in Enoch 1 tells you that there were 200 fallen angels that descended in that day, and right there it tells you the names of those people, and they were the leaders of 10. I've never heard of anybody even mention this place, or a Christian telling me that they went there. Okay, click on the U.S. Embassy in Astana, and then zoom down right down the street, and you'll see that portal right there. I thought this was super weird, but there's no pictures of it. So if you go across the street and click on that little blue dot right across the river, and then roll that thing around right there, and you're gonna see this. It's like a portal to me.
They might as well put a big sign on the front of that building that says "Bad Guy's Secret Hideout." That is suspicious in every sense of the word.
Get the dogs out. Something bizarre is happening to the fish in the lower Keys.
That's not something I've ever seen fish do. Ever.
Since December, 20 critically endangered small-tooth sawfish have been reported, according to the latest numbers from FWC.
This is a very large species, and the size of the sawfish we're seeing coming inshore and eventually.
And it's not just sawfish. More than a dozen species of all sizes, from pinfish to grouper, have been observed acting erratically, spinning, and clearly distressed. And longtime residents, like technical diver Greg Furstenworth, are very worried.
It's disturbing. If it keeps going like this, it's the end of an ecosystem as we know it.
The event seems to be centered between Cudjoe and Big Pine Key, but there have been sightings stretching from Key West to Marathon.
You can pretty much see it every single day until last Saturday.
You're seeing more and more species exhibit this behavior?
Yes.
But no one knows what's causing it. So far, early testing has ruled out red tide, low oxygen, disease, and other pathogens. But according to FWC, high levels of a toxic algae have been detected, though what it is still a mystery.
Right now, we do not have a smoking relative to a particular toxin that may be causing these issues.
Donna Hart, manager of Lower Keys Tackle, stresses so far this has only been documented inland and says offshore fishing has not been impacted.
I don't want people to be afraid to come and enjoy the Florida Keys and get out on the water and go fishing and go snorkeling. There's no impact whatsoever beyond our nearshore waters that I'm aware of right now.
But scientists remain baffled.
We don't know if this is, just a preamble, if this is going to get a lot worse. We don't know if it's going to spread to other areas. We have no idea. I really do think we need to get on top.
So we've covered this topic on this channel before, but I thought this was interesting that they've now announced all these tests they've run and experiments that they've conducted to try to figure out what's causing it, and so far they've come up with nothing. That's not a good sign. If this spirals out of control and the fish in the ocean start dying off, I just don't see how the planet keeps going on past that point. This needs to be priority number one, I think, as far as worrying about what's going on with the Earth. We need to figure out what's causing this and get it fixed soon.
The U.S. military at DARPA has literally just developed the very first fighter jet that runs purely on AI and put it into a dogfight. It's a fly-by-wire fighter jet, which means it's on the grid. We're talking about Skynet now, but Skynet with a consciousness. Isn't that the movie Terminator? Didn't we already watch that movie Terminator? We didn't learn anything from the Hollywood movie. It was a documentary. And now we're living it in real time. We got to be careful. All this tech that we keep getting, way before we are consciously ready to even handle it. We're not spiritually ready to handle a lot of this technology.
I guess we now know what they'll be chasing us down with when the second Civil War kicks off. Ain't nobody going to be able to outrun an AI-controlled fighter jet. Does anyone else find it funny how the government has their hands in all these movies and then they ignore the outcomes from the movies that they had a hand in making? Anyone can see this as a bad idea.
You guys, I don't even know what's happening at this point. I'm in my room at the hospital, and they don't have enough staff here, so they said, hey, just so you know, there's a thing on the wall, and it's going to be your virtual nurse. That thing right there. And she just came on, and she was on the TV, like our TV stopped, we were watching a barbecue show. She was on there, and like the camera turned around and looked at us, and then she was like, how's it going? Judy, what do you mean, how's it going? I'm freaked out right now. What are you doing up there? And where was she? Nobody knows. I think she's in the cloud. Anywho, they don't have enough people here. And so they use virtual nurses. We didn't know about this. And Liz works in the healthcare industry. And she used to work at this hospital on a different floor. And she said she didn't know about this. So this is what it's came to, guys.
You can't virtually care for kids.
Oh yeah, she's a PD. She does peds. But this is freaking crazy. This is crazy. I'm mind blown right now. I'm actually impressed.
This is just sad. The healthcare industry's falling apart. They say that nursing's one of the most stable jobs to go into because the demand's so high they can't replace a nurse with a robot or AI. Well, it looks like that myth has been dispelled. Everyone's job's at risk, I guess. I know one thing, though. If I go into a hospital and they try to give me a virtual nurse, if I ain't dying, I'm walking out of there. I'm certainly not paying for virtual health care. The good thing is I don't see this turning into a long-term solution. I think this is going to end when the first hospital gets sued because a virtual nurse cannot administer medications during an emergency. But that's just my opinion. We'll see how it all plays out. But guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right there. I hope you enjoyed these clips we watched together today. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. I hope you come back to join me. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And check out www.barry-stepp.com if you'd like to order yourself a shirt or a hat and help me support the channel. I greatly appreciate everyone who's ordered anything off of there so far. Also, don't forget to post your photo of your merch over in the Discord to get your photo in a video. Today, we have a photo from a Discord member named Ginger, who is a professional model and aquatic performing mermaid. These are some photos that she took for me to use on the website, so a massive thank you to Ginger. Thank you very much, Ginger. I appreciate it. But with all that out of the way, I hope everyone has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow.